welcome to Aidans Railways. Today, let's look at a train set. Hi, welcome back to Aidans Railways. Today we're going to look at another train set. This is the Western Freight Haulier by Hornby. This was an exclusive to Asda set. We picked it up from one of the Asda clothing stores, home and clothing stores. Can't remember their exact name. And this must be about 2-3 years ago at least. This too was on sale. It was really close to Christmas, and it had been reduced. They may not have been selling many of them, and it was a real steal. I mean, I think it was only about £29-30 or something like that. As far as I was concerned, it was a real steal. So when I saw it there, I picked one up straight away. I thought, can't go wrong, because normally for one of those locomotives you pay about £30. So I figured, why not get it? And this had a few other extras in it, which aren't in the box because we're using them. But the picture is, if you can see it there, you'll see some of these buildings and a water crane, whistle side and things like that. So I've got some line side huts and a loading gauge as well there. But I know they're not in the box itself because like I say, we are currently using them. Right, let's open it up and see what is inside. So, the usual instructions, servicing manual, how to guide, building railway, all that sort of thing. Warranty card is in there. There was also a track mat in here, but we see so many of those. That's been taken out and it's been put to one side. A full oval of third radius curves, I should say. 2 straights, one being a standard short straight and one being a power straight. The old style basic Hornby controller, actual control to make it move, forward and reverse motion, and plug to go into the track, and a socket for the power supply, which will just go straight in. So basic, so simple. We'll put that to one side there. So what else did you get in it? Well, we saw the line side huts on that picture, the loading gauge, water crane, whistle side. There was some of the stickers here. You can see one of them's missing on there. I think there may also have been some gradient sides for the side of the track that weren't pictured on there, but I might be wrong because it seems to have the gradient levels and 1 in 20 and things like that. So it may have had them in there. I'm not too sure. So let's have a look at some of the rolling stock. So we've got a reasonably long 4-wheel truck and wonderfully metal wheels. We always know I like to see metal wheels on things. But this is a basic railroad open truck there. English China Clays Limited, St Austell, with the running number 490 on there. It's all moulded. There's no great detail to it, but it does look really wonderful, especially if you gave it a bit of a smoky dirt, was using some weathering powders. You could really give it some age and some use look to it. Possibly put a load in as well. But already we have a truck there that's, probably retail at about £10-15. So this was a real steal, this set, as far as I'm concerned. But that's a nice 4-wheel truck there. Put that to one side. What do we have here? Great Western 4-wheel box fan. Metal wheels again, lovely. See how well they freely turn. The plastic ones aren't like that at all. I really don't like them. But so it's a really good moulding. There's plenty of texture there and things like that. It's very simple with the printing. GW for your Great Western with a running number of 43. It's got your plastic buffers, big D couplings again. Like I say, this will put up with quite a bit of abuse. I'm just having a look, and there's me. Yes, so the couplings do remove, and they on this box van anyway. They're prime for conversion if you're using smaller couplings. So that's brilliant. That's not something I was used to seeing, and I think that's the first time I've noticed that. So live on air, so to speak. I've had my eyes opened a bit, but it's a lovely little truck. Like I say, a bit of weathering powder would really give that some period age to it and that sort of thing. So we'll put that there. Now, I'd never had one of these before, and I was quite happy when I saw it. I always wondered what this was for. So we've got a nice low Mac truck. Now this does have plastic wheels, but with metal axles. Just having a look here, and yes, you can remove those couplings, those D-shaped couplings, and you can change them as well. These open avenues for so many things. Someone starting into the hobby, and you know, established model railway collectors or builders. These could be used for so many things. You could put, you know, a traction engine on it, a car on it, a tractor on it, potentially a tank, I suppose, on it, if you wanted to theme it up that way. But with this particular one, there's a small box crate sort of thing. It's got EJB castings, handled with care, and this way up. It's very nice. It would sit sort of like that on the track. I'm in two minds. Now, this is why we haven't done the next part to this. I wondered what this was, and I had to refer to the instructions straight away, but it would appear that fits there, and it's to locate it. You would stick it. It's got a bit of sticky back tape there. You'd stick that on there, and then it would ensure that that load doesn't fall off. The reason I haven't stuck that on is because I don't want to be limited to it just being for that crate. The potential uses for it on the railway, and I may very well pick some more of these if I see them at the right price. The potential to use it in a sort of the scenes of moving transport, like tractors and traction engines and tanks and things like that. There's so much scope for this low Mac. There's so much you could use it for that I don't want to be restricted by placing that on. But I suppose you could stick it on there and secure that load that way. But there are, I would imagine, a bit of sticky tape just on the edges of this crate, and you could get it just to hold and then remove it and not damage any of the surface at all, because although it's just molded, this is all textured and it gives the impression of wood, and it's well done. For such a basic model, it is well done, but the scope there for me is huge, what it could be used for. So I refrained from sticking that particular thing on, but when you get the set, that's what you get. You get a nice wooden crate. Now let's move on to the locomotive. We have got quite a few of this particular locomotive in various guises. So we've got a basic Railroad 040 locomotive here in, I think it's Great Western Brunswick green, is it? With the GWR Great Western Railway emblems on there, the lettering with the running number 107. The connecting rods and gear, and actually the wheels have got quite a smoky, dirty look to them. They're not brilliant metal silver, if you know what I mean. So it does give that impression of a dirty locomotive there, which is great. Little coal load, and there is detail in the cab, so you could take that load off. It does just unclip if you refer to the instructions, and you could highlight all the various controls inside the cab. Plastic buffers, these couplings don't remove, they're part of the moulding on the chassis, and it is just a plastic chassis from what I can see. Yes, it is really very light. Now the motors inside these, the they can run at some speed, some real speed. So it's best to keep the controller quite low. They will fly around, but totally unrealistic, but but they will fly around. It's a wonder that Hornby haven't found a way of changing the gearing potentially on the worm or things like that, just to try and slow it down a bit. Or maybe that's why they've done it. They keep it a bit of excitement there. But it's all moulded. I think the buffers are separately pushed in and glued, but they are just plastic. All these handrails and things are part of the moulding, but they're beautifully picked out in that sort of brassy gold colour. Nice little painted copper chimney top to give it that real Great Western look about it. Little steps and things like that. They are very basic, they're very simple. A lot of people think they're very cheap. I mean, they, relatively speaking, they are. But there's so much scope there with these little locos to weather them up and add embellishments and things like that. Inside the little pack, there's also the brake vacuum pipes to be fitted onto the front and the rear of the loco. So you've got all these possibilities. You can weather it up, make it look run down or really dirty. You could put some sort of some lamps on if you wanted to at the front or the rear. Get a crew in there. It would really set it off. I mean, you could even take off the GWR, and you could make it into sort of a coal board mine locomotive. But you've got that scope, and for such a cheap train set, you've paid nothing for it, and you've got everything in there that you need if you want to start out, or extras if you're already in the hobby. But you'll normally pay for this locomotive on its own what was paid for the set. So a real steal, a real bargain. So I don't think there was any locomotive crew. I think we've hit that period where they weren't including them anymore. But we'll put this down, we'll get it onto the track, and then we'll see it running. You've seen me load the model onto the track. Let's see it running. Well, I think you'll agree with me, that was certainly a bargain find train set there. Lovely and smooth, nice and quiet. There we go. Thank you for watching, really appreciate it. Hope it's given you some ideas, or just enjoyed watching. We'll see you soon, and don't forget, if you enjoyed and you want to know more, keep up to date with the videos, be sure to subscribe. Bye.